Dr. Joseph Nye is a Harvard professor, and Joe has been considered by many people the most influential of academics in terms of policy, a person who's had the most influence on the way the U.S. policy has worked in the world. He's an incredible idea entrepreneur, coming up with notions such as soft power. Joe he's also the co-chairman of my board, which is important, full disclosure. Joe, Dr. Nye, has also produced 3 of what's been called the Nye Armitage reports, which were 3 reports written, co-chaired by himself and Richard Armitage, who was a former Deputy Secretary of State in the George W. Bush, the first 4 years under Colin Powell. And they, along with the study group, have written 3 reports on the future of the U.S.-Japan relationship. When the second report came out, Dr. Nye was asked about why he focused on the U.S.-Japan relationship and why you didn't do a report on China. And his answer was, and I think very convincing, that there are 2 ways that you can look at Asia. You can start, as an American, and probably for any other country, you can start with the relationship with China. You can say, this is what we want to do with China, engaging Beijing in its many forms and fashions. And then, after you've gotten the China piece right, you then turn to your other interests in the region. So you could relationship with Australia, relationship with Japan, relationship with Korea, other U.S. allies, other U.S. partners. What are the norms and what are the principles? What are the institutions that you want to put together? So you have these baskets of other interests, and as you put them all together, you start with China and then you build around China to put that piece. The second way of doing it, Joe said, is you start with, of course, an understanding of what U.S. interests are in the region, and then you start with the other pieces. So you say, what's our relationship with our allies, Australia, Japan, Korea, etc. What what sort of goals do we seek to set, and how do we want to work with institutions? How is it that we want to work with norms? And after having put together the rest of the puzzle, there's one piece left. That piece is China. And so the idea then is that rather than a China out, if you will, it becomes sort of a rest of Asia in approach. And I find that to be a much more congenial and I think much more effective way to think about Asian policy.
Looking north, thinking east, facing west. The geography of global prosperity.